So we're getting on to the on-ramp here. So sorry if there's a little bit of wind noise, but here's our quick walk around on this Quadrifoglio. You guys can see the hood venting right there, and then the whole front end, super aggressive. And this is a special factory paint color. It's called Alpi or something like that. I think it's Alpi, I might be wrong. I put it in my main review, but it's a really cool color. And as you guys can see, this is a really cool looking SUV overall. Definitely like from every single angle. Sorry about my shadow right there. Really aggressive looking. That's one thing that's cool about the Quadrifoglio. And you can see the interior too with this. Definitely cool. And yes, it does have carbon fiber buckets. Like, this is an SUV and it has these full-on like tons of carbon fiber, but it has full-on carbon fiber buckets. And if I pop the hood, as you guys can see, under the hood we have a twin turbo 2.9 liter V6. It's a Ferrari V8 with 2 cylinders cut off. It's got over 500 horsepower on it. That's all you need to know. And mid 400s for the torque. Goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. It's pretty crazy setup. And yeah, this is just a cool thing. And so hopefully you guys enjoy this little point of view drive. And I guess before we get into the drive, I'll go into the drive modes quickly. So we have A, which is like your all weather mode. You can see it pops up here. N is natural. D is like your dynamic mode, and that lets you change the shocks to stiff or soft. And then you have your race mode. And then same thing with the shocks. And the race mode is what opens up the exhaust valves. So dynamic doesn't open up the valves, but the race mode does open up the valves. Anyways, let's set off. Figure for the point of view for the second channel, we start here on the highway. This thing is so fun. You guys can see the gear shifts are like instant, and it just makes such cool sounds. You don't really get any turbo noise, which is interesting. It seems like they focused on the exhaust, which is kind of like a Maserati, Alfa Romeo, Ferrari type thing. No turbo, just exhaust. Listen to that. This is a car that, like, I'm just sitting here in traffic on the highway, am I a caveman? On the highway, and I can just have fun. Like, there's not a lot of SUVs that you could just have fun in your daily commute like this. Downshift a couple gears. And it does not shift for you. That is cool. So you got to do all the shifting, which is great, because that has a nicer feel to it, and the sound is great too. But I mean, look at this. Okay, full race car mode, but then we pop it over into natural mode. Everything tones down instantly. It gets quieter. Steering actually kind of lightens up a little bit. And I'm in automatic mode, so it's doing everything for me. And you can see, it's just like a regular SUV. Like, just completely transformed when I did that. And oh no, this person's not gonna let me in for sure. I was gonna say, I kind of didn't let them in earlier, and so I'm sure that, oh, and we got another person. Okay, man, Utah drivers. I didn't let them in earlier, so yeah, I was like, you know what, they're not gonna return the favor. But I was trying to have fun and accelerate, okay? I'm just trying to get back to home now with this Stelvio. Man, the traffic, I picked like the worst time to drive. But pop it back into race mode, rather. Suspension is soft, back to manual mode, and we're back to race car. And you guys can see there, visibility is not bad with this, actually. Visibility is not bad whatsoever. It's got the blind spot monitoring, which helps out as well, but if you're in tons of traffic, this is easy to drive. And look at this, first gear downshift. Like, what can you do that in? I know I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to because I'm immature. I'm gonna pop it into, not reverse, neutral. And you can get some turbo when you just rev it like that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, this is fun. So we're getting on to the on-ramp here. Just listen to that. This soundtrack would just never get old. Such a fun experience. And honestly, I would be okay with driving this, like daily driving this, even in race mode. You know, the manual shifting with the paddles might get a little bit cumbersome, but you know, overall, I think it'd be a fun experience, honestly, just to kind of daily drive this in this mode. See how the handling is coming up to here. It's so quick. But yeah, let's see the handling around this. Yeah, it just stays so planted. This doesn't feel like an SUV at all. Like, you obviously have SUV ground clearance with this and size, but from a handling perspective, this is a sports car. Man, this is so fun. I'm so grateful that I was able to take this out and drive this a little bit. But yeah, I guess we'll get some in-town driving in a little bit. I guess I can talk about downsides a little bit. It's a little bit noisier here in the interior, right? But I'm okay with that because I can hear the exhaust, and I feel like I'm just having a good time. Like, it doesn't matter that, you know, there's a little bit more noise here in the interior. I feel like I'm having a good time. And also the one thing about this car, of course as soon as I go over, the one thing about this car is it does have that like zippy feel where you just like want to like drive like a typical BMW driver, if you catch my drift. It gives you that kind of feel. I have this, by the way, I just want to mention this in this video since this is a longer form review. I have this like thing where whenever I'm driving and having fun and I'm not filming, people like completely respect me. But then as soon as I have the GoPro on, I feel like people like look through the windshield, see I have a GoPro on, and then they instantly like try to pull it in front and all this stuff that they don't normally. It's so weird. It's like GoPro on, I'm jinxed. But enough complaining aside. Like, look at this. Coming into here, just flat. And it goes over the bumps and it doesn't flop all over the place. It just hooks. It has so much torque. Even if you're not on the right gear, it still just rockets along. This is such a cool car. I can't believe, and this has all-wheel drive, and you could have kids in the back. This would be like the coolest dad car ever. Even though it's, you know, this is, again, I'm not trying to like discount this. This is a, you know, hardcore performance SUV. But I'm just saying, this would be like the coolest dad car ever. Think about pulling up to this at the elementary school. That would be a fun thing to do. Oh, it sounds so beautiful. And driving around town here at lower speeds, again, this will give you an option to do a little bit more shifting, so you can kind of just hear what's happening. And just have some fun with it. And you guys probably are like, why the heck do you keep just downshifting and upshifting? It's like, this feels good to do that. Some cars don't. Some cars, it's like, you just get your acceleration out and then you're done. This, on the other hand, it's like, you go and you accelerate and then you kind of slow down a little bit and you accelerate again, and just to hear it and to feel it. And it's just fun. And idle here it's not obnoxious. Also, I noticed on the highway it didn't drone either. That's a big positive. It doesn't drone. And the steering wheel feels really nice with the carbon fiber here. Definitely a nice feel, and the Alcantara gives you better grip. These gloves help out in general, but yeah, it's definitely a nice experience. I'm gonna kind of move here a little bit. Sorry about the changing camera view, guys. But also the brakes aren't, they're very strong. Like, the stopping power on this is great, but the brakes aren't awkwardly touchy in traffic. So that's another big positive, is that you've got brakes that are actually usable from a daily driver perspective. So I guess we're gonna sum things up with this point of view drive for the second channel. So yeah, acceleration super strong in this. Over 500 horsepower for such a lightweight SUV is fantastic. It sounds great, handling's great. I mean, sitting in these seats for like the last 20 minutes now, comfortable. Like, I'm not uncomfortable whatsoever. So that's another big positive. Transmission's amazing. I don't really have anything to knock this for. The only thing that I'd have to say about this is Just understand that this is, you know, even though it's from a, you know, kind of, well, Alfa Romeo's, they're a luxury brand, but they're also kind of, like, everyone knows they're a performance brand. So understand you're buying a performance SUV. So, like, this can do daily driver stuff, and these seats are not uncomfortable. Like I said, I've been in these seats for like 20 minutes now, and it doesn't feel bad or anything like that. But it is, you know, on the harsher side of things from a ride quality perspective, and, you know, the seats are harder. So just understand that. But if you're okay with it like I am, this is one of the best SUVs you could buy. It sounds just so fantastic. It drives amazing. And there's not really a downside to it. And with this paint color, it looks incredible. Yeah, there's definitely a lot to love about the Stelvio Quadrifoglio, and it's just easy to drive. Pop it back into the natural mode here. The final summing things up. Yeah, you guys can see it's just easy to drive, right? There's nothing difficult or challenging about this, which I love. So yeah, if you're looking for a fun performance SUV, check out the new Quadrifoglio.